All right, so Patricia writes in how to go from active management to self-managing her portfolio. So let's see what she says here. Um, would you have any recommendations on steps to take when moving from active management to self-management, occasionally seeking professional advice? Would you have any recommendations on protecting investment accounts from unauthorized trades or withdrawals? How often do you recommend reviewing your financial accounts under self-management? I'm not an active trader, but I hold stocks for a long time. Okay. Any specific recommendations for accounts that reside at Vanguard or Schwab? All right, so it's a good question. Don't put more into this than the need to, Patricia. I just you don't. There's no there in terms of when you're actually managing, when you're managing your own money. You don't need to do anything. You're already saying you hold stocks long term. You certainly don't need a professional to do that for you. So here, I mean, literally, this is so freaking simple. It really depends on your risk tolerance at the end of the day. I know that sounds like what? Remember, risk tolerance, you have to look at 2008. If you have $1 million and we had another 2008 and you're 100% in stocks, you were down 57%. Now, it's one thing if you're still working, you got your job, and you're still plugging away. It's a whole lot, and you got no debt. It's a whole lot easier to contend with. But if you're just retired, that's a freaking tough position to be in. I'm just telling you right now. So when you hear act with risk tolerance, you gotta say, what is my truly risk tolerance? 57% decline. I can't handle that. No way. No way. In fact, why would you need to? Now, if you're still plugging, man, I got no problem being all in stocks. I'm not. I got no problem with it at all. But you got to figure out how much risk do you want to take? We've already had the biggest downturn ever in bonds last year. Now, it's starting off pretty negative this year, too, which kind of surprises me. Not surprising. I don't want to say shocks, but surprising nonetheless. I can't see that happening forever, but man, I could be wrong. But remember, the biggest negatives we ever had in bonds, what, 15%, maybe 20%? That's nothing near a 57% decline in stocks. Nothing at all. So it's really quite simple. Remember, the biggest risk of active management is the fees you pay. This is the end. Oh man, I'm gonna get kicked off in the industry at some point because it's not worth it. And I love this guy named Nick Murray. I love him. I just find he taught me a lot, but I never liked his idea of, well, if you paid me 1%, I would have saved you XYZ from making the big mistake. I don't want to get into it, but a lot of people justify their fee by pretending they will save you from doing something that you would have never done anyway, i.e., selling in March of 2009. I just don't know that many people who did that, frankly. And on top of that, how many active managers were doing that exact same thing? You see what I'm saying? I'll never forget. I had Michael Kitces on his LinkedIn post. That's about 2000. Yeah, it was during the February, the Valentine's Day massacre of 2020, during the Corona. He emailed saying, or he didn't email. He posted on his LinkedIn saying financial advisors were looking for ways to generate new revenue because the markets were so far down, because they're paying a percentage of fees. And I said, wait a second. Anyway, it sickened me, frankly. So the point being was, they were like, man, I'm losing money. The markets are way down. My fees are way down. Thus, I need to find a new way to generate more revenue. And I said, so does a money manager, is he not inclined to see the market and make adjustments accordingly? And those adjustments, are they any good? The answer, of course not. They're no good. But a money manager is not immune to making short-term trades and short-term position changes. In fact, the money manager, if anything, is probably more aligned to do that than you as an individual. So, the nice thing about Vanguard or Schwab, they have these portfolio analysis that you can just pay, like $50 a month or $300 a year. So I don't know what it costs. You say, hey, just review my portfolio. Now, do I trust those guys? I don't not trust them. I just, they have models they have to accommodate. They'll ask you a risk tolerance. I don't even know if you need all that stuff, though. But you could. I mean, something tells me Patricia here, she's a smart cookie. She doesn't need to pay some guy. She goes, look, Where do I stand? Am I okay with the risk? Always remember, the risk is always a 57% decline. That will never go away. I don't care if it's January of 2000 or January of 2023. Now that we have a line drawn in from October 2007 to March 9th of 2009, a 57% decline, that is your risk. You have to be willing to say, I got X amount of dollars, $100,000. Could I watch this go down to $43,000 over 18 months' time and keep my head on straight? And you got to go into that literally truthfully to you. You have to. If the answer is no, then you got to change. You know what I'm saying? You got to change. You got to have more bonds, maybe some fixed annuities. If the answer is yes, you can literally do that. Now look, you got to think this through. I got $1 million. I just retired. I'm 100% stocks. Can I watch this go down to $430,000? I guarantee the vast majority of us can. So then we say, well, what can we do to mitigate that? And that's where the barbell. I'm telling you, man, the barbell is so wonderful, especially now that the freaking barbell, the interest rates are so much higher. So let's just say you can't do that. And let's say you spend, for simplicity, you spend $100,000 a year. I got to use that because we say 600,000. 600,000 and 400,000. So 600,000 is your at-risk portfolio. That could be all in S&P 500, all in the total stock index, VTI. It could be in the Fidelity Balance Fund. It could be in the Vanguard Wellington Fund. It could even be in Vanguard Wellesley. I don't care, but I'm just saying this is your at-risk money, the 57%. Now remember, Wellesley didn't go down 57% in 2008, but it still went down Wellington still went down top to bottom. I want to say, I can't remember. I wrote a book on it. We'll say 30%. So it wasn't like it was immune to the downside risk. It just wasn't. Anyway, so this could be whatever you want in terms of your growth portfolio. And then this should be in, CDs are great. CDs, $100,000 per year CD, ladder for 4 years, man. $100,000 for 4 years, whatever. But it's so easy and so cheap. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do anything, and you don't have to pay a money manager for that. You just say, hey, if I need $100,000 a year, if this account is up, I'm pulling it from this account. If this account is down, I'm pulling it from this account. And people always say, well, what about in 5 years? You have to revisit, dude. I don't know. Right now, that gives you going for the next 4 years. Will it last forever? Nothing lasts forever, baby. That's why you got to readjust every couple of years, but you don't need someone to tell you to do that. I hope this helps. It's a big deal. To get out of money management is a big win, dude. It really is. One day, the financial industry is going to recognize this. I'll probably be long gone before then. They'll probably string me up before then, but it's just there's no value added. I'm sorry, there's not. And the Vanguard does this thing, and Morningstar, the Alpha. It's so embarrassing. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see you.